Okay, so we're back on the whole abortion issue. We're back talking about abortion again. This is like this is one of the most insane arguments that's ever happened in this country and in this world. One of the most insane debates. It's ridiculous. It's senseless. It's nasty that we even have to debate whether or not the abortion of a child in a womb is good or bad, or whether it should be permissible or not. This shouldn't exist. It's sickening, it's nasty, it's horrible, it's abominable, and I'm getting sick of hearing about it. I know a lot of other people, not just Christians, not just religious people. I even know atheists who don't like abortion, who think abortion is wrong. Some of them might, on a very small level, they might say, well, yeah, the person has the choice, but they really don't like it. So here's the thing: people on the pro-choice, pro-abortion side keep saying, "Well, it's not a person. You're not aborting a person. This isn't a person. It's just a blob of cells. It's protoplasm. It's undefined. It's not a life. It's not a live person. It's just a part of the mother's body. It's just cells that an extension of the mother's insides, whatever. It's not a baby. It's not a person. Okay." And this is the argument that they drowned us with. They drowned us, try to drown us in this argument. They try to grind us into our heads with their proverbial boots. They keep telling us this BS all the time. Oh, it's not a person. It's not a person. It's not a person. Okay, so let's play a little hypothetical game. We'll call it the straw man game here. We're gonna play the straw man game for a minute. People on the left are always talking about how people on the right are presenting these straw man arguments. Okay, we'll call it the straw man game. We'll play a hypothetical game here, and let's just hash this out. So it's not a person, right? It's not a person until it comes out, until the mother decides it's a person, and or it comes out of the womb or whatever. It's only a person until the mother decides it, or until it's on the outside of the body, right? So it's not a person. So let's play this game. Let's say, for instance, I know this has probably never happened. It might, it could, but it probably won't. But let's just say, for instance, hypothetically speaking, we'll just draw this hypothetical picture. Let's say every woman in the entire world from now on, whoever gets pregnant, has an abortion. No matter how many times they get pregnant, they have abortions, they have abortions, they have abortions. Every woman, 100% of the women in the entire world, wherever they live, India, South Africa, Sweden, Germany, France, America, Canada, Mexico, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter the religious beliefs, nothing. Everybody, all women everywhere are getting an abortion. And they keep getting abortions and getting abortions and getting abortions. How many people at the end of a 100-year period, we'll just call it 100 years just to be safe, after a 100-year period of abortion after abortion after abortion, with never any people following through and having their babies to full term, carrying their babies to full term, how many people do you think would be in the world in 100 years? Now I want you to think about that. I want you to roll that around your head. I want you to get the cobwebs out of your head. There's a center of logic that's in your brain that's supposed to be working. It's supposed to be functional. But for some reason, when you're on the left, when you're on the far left, when you're on the pro-choice side or the pro-abortion side, it doesn't work. Okay, for some reason. I've actually only met one person on the pro-choice, pro-abortion side who would admit that they were killing a person, and that person was an extremely horrible human being who says that the babies are just parasites and they don't have any right to exist. Okay, so but I've only met one person like that. Never, nobody else. Nobody else has ever said that. So let's play this game. Let's just think it out, hash it out. We're looking 100 years down the road. Every woman from now on, from this moment forward, gets an abortion when she has a baby or she gets pregnant, and from now on, every single pregnancy is aborted for the next 100 years. How many people would be on the earth? How many people would be left if that happened? How many people would the earth be full of people? Would there be 7 billion people here on earth, or would it be empty? Now I know the answer. I don't think I have to even say the answer. I guess I can, but I don't think I have to say it. I would hope that anybody that hears this and thinks about that and just looks at the long view and looks down the end of this road of 100 years of no babies being born in America or in the world would see that there's not going to be any people left. Now, if the baby or that thing inside your womb is not a person, then how come there would be no people left in the world if everyone had an abortion? The reason is because that baby, regardless of what stage of existence that baby is in your body, that is a person. Now, it may not be a fully functional person. It may not be a person who can rationalize and think yet. It may not be a fully realized person. It may not be a person that's walking on the earth, you're reading and eating and sleeping and whatever. But if you end the life of that being in your womb, that life will never become a fully realized, fully sentient person walking on the earth. And so, if we were to all get, if everybody that got pregnant were to get abortions, you wait 100 years, the earth is empty. There's no more people. And I wonder if maybe that's the real point. Maybe that's the whole point behind abortion is the people who are doing it are trying to exterminate the human race, because if that happened, there would be no people. And it's funny because there would be no people living, but people will still say that it's not a person, that this being inside your womb, your insides, is not a person. Yet you'd have to acknowledge logically that if everybody did that, if everybody had an abortion, there'd be no people. So there's a logical disconnect in here somewhere that people are not thinking about this from a logical or reasonable or scientific standpoint. They're only thinking with their emotions. They're saying, "Oh, I'm a woman. I have a right to choose what goes on in my body. You can't tell me because you're a man. You have no say so in the matter." Blah blah blah. Those all those slogans, all that propaganda. But if you just step aside from all that for a minute and you look at that, what happens if everybody gets an abortion from now on? There's no people. The reason is because you're killing people. You are ending the lives of people. They're tiny people. Maybe they may not have all their limbs yet. They may not be completely able to function outside of the womb or whatever, but they're people. And you have to admit that if you have any logic or reason left in your brain at all, you have to realize it is a person in there, because it's going to become a fully realized person if you don't kill it. Yes, there's a small percentage of people who die in the womb. I don't know what the exact percentage is, but it's not a huge amount. It's probably maybe 10%. So yeah, there are some people who would die in the womb and would never become people, but you're not talking about accidental death. You're not talking about coincidental death. You're talking about deciding to pay someone to go inside your body and end that life that's in you. And if enough people did that, eventually there'd be no people left, because that's a person in there. It's a live human being. It may not know its own name. It may not know how to breathe on its own, but it's a live person, and you're killing that person. You're ending that person's existence, and you're doing it, and it's wrong. Okay? Please, for the love of God, stop doing that. Think about what you're doing. Don't just let some leftist organization or Women for America or whatever it is tell you what to think and what to feel. Think for yourself.